Hi, I'm Austin Eartham.
And I'm Taylor Patton. Welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast.
Here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to episode number 79. We're going to be talking about the longevity of success. What does that take? What does that include? Why is that important? So on, so on. Let's see where it goes. Anyways, news for the week. What we got going on here, there, cameraman?
Just trying to make us look pretty, I guess.
No, we look way better in the phone shot than the.
Yes. Well, considering 30 minutes ago I walked into the wrong house.
Yep.
Austin lives in duplexes that look the exact same, and I was rushing to get here, and I walked in the wrong house. And good thing that there's like their basement, their garage is their basement, so no one saw me. But I walked in and I was like, why are there so many kids and so many shoes? And I was like, this is not gonna be good for the podcast. Austin's probably pissed because I was like, something's happening, like family, like surprise party or something's happening right now. And then I very quickly realized I was in the wrong house, so I scurried on out. Didn't have the cops call on me.
Nobody's on.
Yeah, no one told me. Like, I walked in like.
That's funny. You should.
Not right here. What?
I just don't know what there is.
There's just nothing to do there.
Shoot. Anyways,
I told you, the only thing you gotta do is get a curtain.
Well,
that's on you. Or tape this freaking sheet.
They're gonna put a towel over or something. Anyways, yep, I don't have any news like that. But I did last week. I did say I was gonna look at my goals. So I looked at my goals and I made some new goals. And let me tell you, it's been a great goal season. Spring was great, or winter/spring. Not everything came true. I didn't get signed by the USFL, but I did perform pretty well, and I'm okay with that. Also, didn't do some podcast stuff I wanted. Didn't get my CrossFit level 1, but I can do all that in the summer. I got some more time as well. Did a lot of business stuff. Learned a lot of stuff with stocks and sign language, survival skills. Watched the whole survival skill series. Workouts, not quite the numbers I want, but I'm definitely growing because my hip. I squatted for the first time this goal season in over a year. That's nice to get some back squats going and front squats going. I feel good. Got moved into a new place, a lot of change, a lot of good stuff. Met some new people, got some new things in terms of workout equipment. So it was really good. I'm always pleased when I do my goals. Since we were talking about those last week, and I had like growth, if that makes sense. Like you can tell, like I'm checking the boxes.
Yeah.
So I just got to go to the next step in those goals and expand them a little bit. Work on some meditation and keep working on the books, that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
So far, so good, man. That's all the news I got.
Yeah. Along with today, I just feel like I was fighting demons today, like all day.
Yeah, you seem like you're on edge.
Yeah. Went to work, all that. Meeting got canceled. So then I was like, okay. So I usually work half a day, and then I go to a meeting, go home on every other Wednesday. Didn't happen this week. It got bumped up an hour. So I was excited. I was like, oh, I got to leave an hour early. I was like, hey, that's awesome. And then they canceled. Or they pushed it back to noon. Then it got canceled, and I was like, so it's 9:30. I was like, can I go home? I was like, what am I doing here? Because I just never think of myself in count on Wednesdays. So I was like, I just want to go home. But then I ended up having to stay until 11:30 noon, and then got my suit for the wedding, for Will's wedding. Then I was in the gym, and it was like, I don't know how to say it, but could not get focused. Didn't want to be there. Every inch of my body hurt, and I'm just grinding it out.
This seems like one of those days.
Yeah,
like nothing seems to go right. You're tired.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then I was like driving here, and I'm like, dang, it's a beautiful day outside.
It is nice. No wind.
So I made the day a little better, but oh yeah.
gonna say at least it's a nice day out.
Then the sauna, I did a half hour with no water. Usually I go out and get water for a minute and a half out of the 15-minute mark, and go back in there. Finish. I was over myself, like complaining about stupid things, so I just said I'm going through it.
Nah, boy.
And let me tell you, it was a tough day. I called myself the B word a lot.
Yeah, those are the days where it's nice to go to bed and wake up and have a new day.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you had like extra stuff to do. It's just like things like didn't work out.
Yeah, just made the day not great.
And they didn't have any flow.
Yeah.
I hate those kind of days, especially when it happens in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Especially like I love like our Wednesday meetings are like some of my like favorite days, just because like we should talk about kind of like what happened the week, like what we're excited for, where like staff are, where we're at. It's just like a very like motivational like meeting for me.
Yeah.
And so when it doesn't happen, and like it throws like honestly it pisses me off. Like literally like I'm like it's an hour, like even if like
hour of your day.
Yeah, like even if like our upper people cancel it, like we like as a team can still meet. It's not an excuse for us not to meet though.
It's like me talking small group in college, hour
Yeah.
every week. You said talk about like what went on with the week and what you're looking forward to. What are you looking forward to coming up the rest of this month here, since we're a week or so in?
Well, Will's wedding. I want another book. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to having a nice weather. Like again, like today was like so nice.
Yeah.
That
next week's gonna rain every day
though. I know. I saw that, and I was like, of course it rains every day. That it's not like week on, week on. So you can't go outside and enjoy like nice weather with kids and all that. I guess my monthly goals and that I guess I'm looking forward to is I'm gonna try and push 100-pound dumbbells again. So I'm excited for that because I feel like I plateaued here. And then I want to finish my book. I want to downsize like half my clothes. That's another reason why I spent a lot of money on that suit, and I'm like, dang, I really
got too many clothes.
Yeah, like
I never asked.
To me, like I think I have too many clothes, and then I look at other people's closets or like other people talk about clothes, and I'm like, I have nothing of the sorts of that. Like
I got way too many clothes. I have more clothes than my wife.
Which is wild. I don't know.
That's real bad.
And then I want to go fishing.
How do you do that for Will's bachelor?
I know. That's why I was excited. I was like,
I still won't take a fish off a hook unless I get gloves on.
I just love summer. Like I just love when it's warm.
No, I don't love.
Nice. Yeah.
Summer, no. Spring, yes. Like today, it's like 70. It's 70 and sunny. Like that's nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like how many people now?
85.
I don't know. It's above 60. It's above 65. But, hey, I'm in a great mood. And the sun's shining.
Sunshine is always good, no matter how cold it is. Honestly, unless it's 5 degrees and it just makes it colder.
Yeah. I think this month is going to be a lot of growth, a lot of good growth.
Yeah, I think this month for me is going to be more about like setting up for growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I feel like school is ending, and in the summer I'm trying to do some sports psychology stuff. Finally got my website domain. Just got to finish up the actual site now. Like put on payment information, all that kind of good stuff. Add the logo. But I'm not going to do much with it in May. But once we hit June 1st, when summer's officially started for school, then I'll try to start doing stuff with it. And then obviously have my training division and that kind of thing. But got to figure out that route. I'm kind of doing that right now, working on a schedule. So looking forward to doing that. But May's going to be a lot of setting up for success. Like my weights, I want to get up. I'm doing hypertrophy right now to get it loaded, and I can put in the strength in the summer. And Will's stuff I'm looking forward to as well. It'll be fun. But a couple weekends before that now. What do I have in 2 weeks? I wonder. I don't remember. Oh, I do know what I have in 2 weeks. So, anyways, all right, cool. Let's talk about. Go ahead. Do you have more stuff or what?
You can go.
Oh,
You can ask your question.
I thought you were gonna say something.
I was, but I'll wait for your question. And then,
I was gonna jump into the podcast.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've been going. Right?
yeah, but I was gonna go into the main content, the meat and the potatoes. Longevity of success. This is something I've been thinking about a lot and just want to discuss for 20 minutes or so. Longevity meaning sustained excellence for a long period of time, continual growth, and continual being the top of your game. Success meaning getting better or prominent in your field, feeling fulfilled or satisfied by the sales, the growth, the discipline, whatever you want to define your success as. I'm thinking of it in terms of a career. How do you have a sustained excellence, longevity of success? What is that? What gets you to longevity of success, or what does success or longevity mean to you? Any of those three questions are out there. Tell me what you think of longevity and success, because it can be a very complicated topic, I feel like.
And showing up every day is like the first thing I think of. Is just like if you just show up. Like, I'm just thinking like today, like just doing anything today is just me showing up, and that like even waking up at 5:30, I was like I regretted picking up. I do it every other week on Wednesday. I work a half shift, but I still regret it every. I like doing it early because I wish I could just go work out, and then be done, and then go work out, go to the meeting, and then just be done for like the day, and just have the day to like relax. But then, I mean, I'd just go mode, and then I'd get up, put my clothes on, get my stuff, walk out the door.
Afterwards, when you get there and stuff, do you feel better?
Again, like, it just really depends. Like, sometimes it's just being there. Like, sometimes it's just, like, showing up, being there, doing the duty. Like, sometimes, like it's a sucky work. Sometimes you're just in the trenches. Sometimes you're just, like, every day, like, a lot of people, like, pray for rain, but it's not going to rain every day. Yeah. And but what are you doing while you're praying for rain? You're out there. You're out there getting the field ready. And I feel like that's where like a lot of like longevity comes from. Is like you got to be out there in the field every day.
Good, you should flip that.
I can't. Okay. Yeah. So I think today was just field day. Like I just felt like today was just me showing up repetitively every single. And then I was like, I was like leaving, and I was like, I just felt very like dissatisfied through today. And went home, and then I took a nap. Like I took a 37-minute nap, and that's kind of what made me be late today to this. I woke up and I walked out, and it was like the sun was shining. So I played the music, pulled the windows down, and way better mood now.
Because you're the podcast, baby.
Yeah, I think just showing up in that every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, every day you're just doing something in the consistency to grow in the field that you want, to understand, to do better, to get better.
Yeah, I think showing up, like some days work's difficult, right? Or whatever you're doing, there's always going to be days in your career where you're like, I don't want to do today. Right? On this side of heaven, there's always going to be some sort of issue. But I would say going into success, or at some point you have to do more than just show up. If it's an occasion, sure, but I think when other people are just getting through the day, can you be good on the day? Like when I think of kicking, when we're at camps and stuff, and it's a windy day, everybody's like, "Oh, today's gonna suck. It's gonna be worse." And I'm usually thinking, today's a great day. Today's the day that I can win, because nobody else is used to the wind or the cold, and I was like, I kick in this daily. So I feel like I have an advantage. So I think to an extent, showing up is good.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, but like every single, like that's exactly what I'm saying. Is like every single day, like you showed up, that it was windy, so you're ready to kick when people showed up.
So you're still putting in the same effort. You're not saying like showing up and you're just going through the motions.
No. I'm saying you're showing up, you're still doing the work. You're still in the field doing the work.
Yeah.
If you just show up and like walk out in the field, but you're praying for rain,
but
you're not doing any work, you're just in the field.
Okay.
Are you really doing it?
Okay, I agree 100%. Which is funny because my motivation Monday or last week, I guess, when this comes out, was the days you don't want to do it are the days you make the most progress. Because then you train for those that you don't want to get up, or you don't want to send that email, you don't want to have the conversation, you don't want to have this speaker, whatever it is. When you do something you don't want to do, you get better. It was just because you're having a bad day, etc. So I think that's cool. Also, I think longevity of success, just in general here, goes with goals, because you have to keep setting goals and keep reaching those goals and then reflecting on those. So we talked about goals and self-assessment. I feel like to have longevity, you have to have reflection. Otherwise, you're not really in tune with yourself. That's something I really want to do this next, I guess the summer, is I want to have better mindfulness. So I'm already really aware, I would say, but I want to be like mindful and like know, okay, you're stressed out right now. Like take a deep breath and kind of reset and do it in the moment. I'm working at that. Like I can tell when something's wrong. Instead of just getting all frantic, I'm going to try to just do the opposite. I'm going to try to take a step back.
Yeah. And then that's kind of what I was talking about. Is like I felt like my growth the past like few months is like just was like really nilly. Like there's growth, but it wasn't like dedicated or disciplined growth.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like the mindfulness of like where my time goes, where my mind goes, where my mindset is, what am I doing throughout the day? Like am I putting in work in certain areas of my life that need work, or am I just lollygagging it? Am I avoiding things?
Yeah.
And that, because then if you avoid things and that, then it continues to stack and then it snowballs into bigger things and the bigger issues and then you're left looking at something that you created as nothing but your own fault that should have been stopped immediately just by doing things that you didn't want to do in that moment, or things that are a little bit harder than that moment.
How do you psych yourself up for those things that are hard though? Like if you have like a hard week, so like on Sundays, and I'm looking at I always look ahead. On Sunday, I always look to the next week, what's going on. If I see a hard week, it's always like crap. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Like how do you get up for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Implanting?
Sure, we'll use implanting. And man, I can't speak English.
Hey,
we'll just say implanting. That's a fine word to use. Either breaks or rewards or like things that you enjoy doing that are truly enjoyment. Like you see enjoyment out of it. Because like my thing is if you working super hard and then like that, but that's like your escapism, and that then at some point you're going to burn out, and it's no longer going to be any escapism. It's just going to be a burnout where you go to work all day, come home, and then you get to play video games for half an hour, or you play a board game, sit on TikTok, go on a walk, ride a bike, I don't know, sit and stare yourself in the mirror, like look at the oven, whatever brings joy to you.
Yeah.
I think you got to implement those simple things, which to get yourself through a hard week, and just know that you can always fall back on those things. Or like, especially if you can find things that like, if you're going through a hard moment, finding things that you can do in that moment or shortly after that bring you back to peace. And like you had a hard conversation, but you can go outside and take 5 minutes just to go on a short walk, or we have these things called diamond puzzles that people really enjoy. Not for me, but like some like my teammates and like all that and my stuff, like sometimes like take time to like do that, or they do it with kids sometimes. And I think that's like an easy like kind of like mental break from like the daunting of the day. So just finding those short little like coping skills. You're spilling all over.
Water bottle sucks.
Yeah, so things like that, like especially, and then I don't know, you just gotta practice rewards, and then implementing outside systems, like you need to call your mom for 5 minutes after a long day just to vent, or
Yeah, I think I got a bunch of points again. I like this because so for my lit review, the paper I was talking about last week on the podcast, and how wasn't very good at it, and I feel like I needed help on it. Long story short is one of the research articles I'm writing about finding athletes' purpose. So I think purpose is such a vague and challenging philosophy, right? So a lot of people use it I can't talk. Synonymously. Man, you guys know what I'm trying to say. A synonym to
Smart. I can make it sound dumb better and over.
to motivation, but really, I do think the longevity of success, like you say that people can't last on like having like that reward system. I think some people can last longer than others because the motivation or because the need that they have. So like the mom needs to go to work and she has to get up at 3 a.m. because she has to provide because she's a single mom for her family. That she's gonna go a lot further being miserable than somebody whose husband is there and makes $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's not gonna have that motivation. But I also think, to your point, that purpose. They say that like doing stuff you enjoy at work. Like you gave the example of talking to your boss or you like playing video games afterwards. So go do your stuff that's hard at work, talk to your boss, whatever, and then go home play video games or go for a walk. And that's like gets you through the day. I definitely think that's true, but research also shows if you do that stuff before work, then you're more likely to enjoy work. So, for instance, I base my whole day, literally, my whole day around working out. Once I get my workout in for the day, I don't care what happens today. I'll freaking stand outside and haul poop back and forth. Like it's not as bad because I have my workout done. So they say research shows when you go to do your workout beforehand and then you go to work on the day. For example, that I would be happier at work because I already have my to-do list done for the day.
Yeah.
Or like you said, if you look forward to like my wife and I talk about, we should have one date every month, or like if you know you're going out with coworkers once a month, or something to look forward to every month. That gets you through the next couple of weeks because that day is coming up. So I do like how you said that gives you something to look forward to or like mini rewards. I also think if you're intrinsically motivated, that you'll just be okay. I feel good. Like I hate having stuff in my schedule, so I talk to the boss, and I'm just glad it's over with. I did it. Like I'm less stressed now. So the reward is just feeling good about the action. Or a hard lift, you always feel good after you're done working out just because you did it. Now you can live another day. So I think all those kind of motivators play a role in longevity, but it all leads towards if you're doing your purpose, you'll enjoy it more. So if your work you don't enjoy, you don't feel like you have purpose at work, try to find those things you enjoy at work to be able to do it. Whether those the little things like drinking coffee for me, or if it's something as big as I want my day to be full on purpose, which hopefully everybody gets to. But I think that's part of it. So I like what you said, I guess, in short. Anyways, what else you got? Anything?
Life's not. I feel like we talk about this a lot, but life's not linear. So I mean, like, just because you have one bad day or like one bad week doesn't make it a bad life. And that, so I just feel like sometimes like we make things sound like so easy. Like when I just think about things, like sometimes we make things sound like easy, like they're easy to do.
Yeah.
And like none of this stuff is like easy to do. None of this stuff is easy to implement. And so I just like, again, it's just about like what you want out of life and where like you want to go. And like you are like you are your own main character. Like if you're focusing on everything else around you and you're not seizing that moment and not taking care of yourself and not putting yourself in a private like prioritizing yourself, you're missing those moments of like where you're the main character, like where you get to be who you want to be at the end of the day.
I totally agree. Go ahead if you got more.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like so I think like a lot of things like we talk about, it's just about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
And that, like I feel like a lot of times we just talk about like a lot of overview things that like have worked for us or like things that we think like that we're working on or working through that because I think like what works for you doesn't work for me, because like you're very more intrinsically motivated than I am. I am very more like externally motivated, and that like, if I know I have to go get on a treadmill for an hour, like 45 minutes of that is listening to motivational speakers yell at me, so I just can walk for 45 minutes. And I think, to me, that also like gives me motivation, because then I like, it's hard to explain my job. But at my job, I also feel like talking to kids, like we talk to kids about how to be better about emotional management, how to handle this, like yourself, like young adults, how to make better decisions, how like the world's not easy, and that, but sometimes like everyone just wants their hand held. I feel like I'm just going on a tangent right now.
No, the world's soft. You're just basically saying
I think like
people don't work hard.
Yeah, and a lot of our kids like have been taught how, like, I don't want to say to be hard, but to make good hard decisions
to benefit your future.
Yeah, and that like a lot of our kids are just like taking like easy way outs, like robbing people, like
they need direction and purpose. They really need purpose is what they need.
Yes, and I think so. Like I'm just like so like what like I also think like okay, so like what works for me doesn't work for every single kid out there. So then like every time I hear something or have a conversation, like it adds value into something I can also bring into like someone else's life.
Yeah. Going off the points you just made, really it comes down to purpose. I've been talking about purpose this whole season. I feel like it's something I'm really into. I've been doing a lot of research, obviously, with purpose. But I think the reason it's very hard to have success for a long, sustained period of time if you're not fulfilling some sort of void or purpose within yourself as the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, like the kids, for example, a lot of kids today, I feel like are just willy-nilly. Want to do a TikTok here, want to be famous because it's easy and they don't have to do anything and it's so-called fun. But really to get to the top of anything is super challenging, and you have to use your own talents. Not everybody is a TikTok star. Not everybody can just grind it out from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. Some people only have like one talent, and it's challenging because they're not like at the cream of the crop for that either. And some people have some people have a lot of trauma in their life. So to go through the trauma, you might not even see your talent because you're just trying to get back to not drown, you know?
Yeah.
So I really think finding purpose is one of the main things for longevity of success. And what I did with my time, because I just do stuff, you know, I have 7 pillars. And I have 3 PowerPoints on this now, but I made 3 pillars of what I think longevity of success should be. And we'll get that to you right after the break. So the 7 pillars in order. Well, I don't have it in order yet. I haven't came up with an acronym, so you guys can help me for this. I think number 1, you need to have balance. Everybody's balance is different, but when I look at balance for me, it's something I used to only want my day to be 8 total hours. So I wake up at 8 o'clock. I'm done doing everything I need to do for the day by 4 o'clock. Everything else is so-called free time or creativity, right? So I can extend that to it's kind of more like 6 o'clock now. So it's more like 10-hour days. Mm-hmm. But I try to have nothing else to do after that so I can have pure free time. I think balance is important. The second thing is I think you need passion, because you have to love what you do. Because passion brings a lot of motivation. Motivation brings forth goals. Then the goals you set, you're more likely to reach them because you're motivated. And then if you reach them, you want to do it again and again, kind of like the self-determination theory, or you can do goal achievement theory for sports psychology as well. Because you're reaching those basic pillars, and then you want to go higher and be somebody, kind of like extra credit if you really want to get that far. So I think passion is important. Next thing, I think you need to have patience. I think patience is super important because there's going to be a lot of challenges and a lot of people that you need to network with or rely upon, and things don't happen overnight. I have a little piece of paper in my garage where I write where I work out that my dad gave me when I was a sophomore in college. And I think it was a sophomore in college. I actually don't remember when he gave it to me, but it says the pyramids weren't built in a day on this little ripped up piece of paper. It's got all sorts of stains and stuff on it now, but I keep it to remind myself that success takes time. We talked about last week how most people aren't successful until they're 40 years old. So I think that patience is a big thing. The next one might be the most important one, and that's people. You got to have relationships in your life because research shows isolation in work, so that's travel, that's being isolated as a leader, that's working overtime, that's doing events after work you don't want to attend to. Kind of like you were saying, like eventually the rewards are going to run out. If you're doing so much with people you don't want to, or events of which include people you don't want to do, then it's going to be a challenge to grow because you're not happy no matter where you're at. Then you go home and you're isolated. That's difficult. If you're going home, then if you're angry at work, you're going to end up bringing that home. Most people are anyways, to your spouse, your kids, your dog, your tiger, whatever it might be. So I think, again, people might be the most important thing. So we got to have the proper relationships. Next one, of an individual, I think this might be one of the most important. Just from a pure thing.
You didn't say that after.
I know they're all. I can't decide. Learning. You got to be able to learn, constantly learning. I was thinking I'm going to be an awful mental performance coach at the start. Yeah. I don't know how it goes. I mean, I do, but I don't. And once I would look back and I was a first year teacher, I suck at teaching. I'm so much better now. Mm. So just knowing that it comes with wisdom and experience, that makes me excited.
Yeah.
Constantly learning. You can learn a lot about business through TV shows. You can learn a lot about finance through talking to friends. You don't have to study them specifically to learn about it. That's what I call second tier networking. I just made that up on the spot. Second tier networking to learn little tidbits of stuff. I learned all about having a kid, and I just talked to friends that had kids. So I feel like I'm much more prepared by doing that, or just doing your own research, right? If you take time to do research, you can learn anything. Remember when you first got that computer?
Yeah.
Your good one, and I was just like, holy cow, how do you learn all this stuff? You're learning to stream and do all that.
Yeah.
How'd you learn?
YouTube videos.
YouTube videos and what? You saw the video and then what'd you do?
Practice.
Yeah, just tried it, right?
Yeah.
You learn so much by just putting time in for a couple hours. Mm-hmm. Putting stuff together. If you just look at the directions or stare at it long enough or try enough parts, eventually you're going to get the right one.
Yeah.
I really think learning is super important because you constantly have to change. In terms of an athlete, your body as an athlete is so different from 20 to 25 to 35. So how can you change yourself to still be successful? Business world, technology changes. It used to be every 10 years. Now it's every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So staying ahead of the ball game, I think, on that is super important. Just look at Gary Vee. The number one reason Gary Vee is successful is because he is always one step ahead in learning. I don't even know him personally, but from the outside, that's what I think of. I already talked a little bit about reflection. And the last thing is I think you need to have good habits. Now, this can go a lot of directions. You need to have habits that are going to benefit you and that lead toward action. So what research has shown, and I think all these also help reach your purpose, but research has shown about longevity is here's what helps longevity or keeps you. It's basically by them saying longevity, they're saying so you don't get burnt out. in just general, not just sports, not just the workplace, but in general. You got to have a high competitiveness, okay? But not too high that your ego gets in the way. So from a habit standpoint, you got to want it, but you also have to know when you're in the wrong and be humble. So high competitiveness is number one, heart of a champion, mind of a champion. Number two with habits is you got to have necessary perfectionism. A lot of people who are really successful but not at the top are because they're too perfect or want to be too perfect and they get in their own way. Or they don't reach success at all because they're so focused on making it right that they're late. In a survival skill show I was watching on Netflix a long time ago, they had to build a raft and get to this island, and the first people there got these crab cages for food because I hadn't eaten like a week. And this one guy spent so much time building his raft. It was the best raft. It didn't have any water come up, anything, but he took so long that he never got a shot at getting the crabs because he was too late. Whereas somebody with a little bit of water, they had a boat that could move, they just had to be okay getting wet, but they got crabs. So in the end, they fed longer. And we talked about last week not being willy-nilly. You can't be willy-nilly, but you also can't be like, this is the perfect thing. It's got to continuously improve, and then you'll, by missing perfectionism but striving to be the best you can be, you'll still hit excellence or greatness, however the quote goes. Habits, eating is all five senses. Your habits should include all five senses, and all five senses should benefit you. So a lot of people think, with my eating habits, I need to eat healthy. Okay, not just eating healthy. Do you feel healthy? Does it look healthy? Are you doing other things? Are you listening to your body? All those kind of things. I already talked about isolation. We also need basic mental training or mental conditioning in order to, I guess, have the confidence to keep on moving, because like you said, life can get hard on a day-to-day basis. And then the last thing is maybe the most important habit, which I keep saying is the most important. You got to have optimism. Smiling is contagious. You need to be serious, but not too serious. If you have faith, I think faith takes you a lot further than people can go on their own. So those 7 things, I think, is what you need consistently to have success for a sustained period of time. What do you think? What did you write down?
They're good. I just rewrote everything you said.
Nice, sharp my scribe.
Yeah. Well, I went not word for word. I just wrote.
I know.
Top lines.
But again, some people aren't meant to be the best. But I think everybody is meant to have success.
I ain't trying to be the best. I'm just trying to be the best Taylor Patton is.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the success of longevity for Taylor Patton? You can do all these, everything I named, by the way, is not something that has to be God-given to you. You can work on all these. They're not like, there's nothing genetic about this. You don't have to have big muscles or physics or anything like that. Everybody can have balance, passion, patience, learn to meet people, learn to have relationships, love. Everybody can learn. Everybody can create proper habits, and everybody can reflect on their life.
Yeah. In
order to better those other 6 things. And my wife would like number 7 because that's her lucky number. 7. We're gonna have 7 kids someday. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
So that's a short version of what I think longevity, what you need for longevity. I could go off on about an hour tangent, but I'll spare everybody for my speaking someday.
That's good. I like it.
What do you think is the most important one? Because I said they all are.
Habits.
That's a good one, isn't it? Habits might be it, because that gets you the rest of them.
Yeah.
Habits help create networks, help you learn, creates passion.
Yeah.
You need to have patience and then balance. Habits is good.
Yeah.
And then habits, you can have optimism. Optimism is kind of more of a feeling. We should go through this. I went through 7 important feelings, and 7 Negative Emotions today in the book, Napoleon Hill's book. Some good ones too. Enthusiasm is one of the top ones. But that's all I got for longevity. So
I'm good. I think it's a good place.
all right, we'll catch you guys on the. Let us know what you think of these first of all, and then catch you on Thursday with 1440. Later.
Yep. Love it. Bye.